So next year, the United States is turning 250 years old, so a quarter of a millennium. And there is some reporting from the Wall Street Journal on what this current administration has in plans for that. So the White House is set to vet Smithsonian museums to fit Trump's historical vision. Top White House officials will scrutinize exhibitions, internal processes, collections, and artist grants ahead of America's 250th anniversary. So the White House plans to conduct a far-reaching review of Smithsonian museum exhibitions and all of that. In a letter sent to Lonnie Bunch, the secretary of the Smithsonian Institution, three top White House officials says they want to ensure the museum's unity, progress, and enduring values that define the American story and reflect the president's executive order calling for restoring truth and sanity to American history. Areas under scrutiny range from public-facing exhibitions, text, and online content to internal curatorial processes, exhibitions, planning, and the use of collections and artist grants. This initiative aims to ensure alignment with the president's directive to celebrate American exceptionalism, remove divisive or partisan narratives, and restore confidence in our shared cultural institutions, the letter states. The letter, dated Tuesday, August 12th, and viewed by the Wall Street Journal, was signed by White House Senior Associate Lindsay Halligan, the Director of Domestic Policy Council, Vince Haley, and the Director of Office Management and Budget, Russ Vaught. They are saying that this is preserving trust in one of our most cherished institutions. The Smithsonian museums and exhibitions should be accurate, patriotic, and enlightening, ensuring they remain places of learning, wonder, and national pride for generations to come. A spokeswoman for the Smithsonian did not respond for a request to comment. The White House review of the Smithsonian's massive collection of art and historical artifacts comes as the president has sought to reorient the country's cultural institutions, including top universities, and demonstrates Trump's efforts to recast parts of the American history in a more positive light. The Smithsonian's Board of Regents agreed to conduct a thorough review of all its museum and zoo content to eliminate political influence and bias, the journal previously reported. The president singled out the Smithsonian Institution in his executive order and said the Smithsonian had recently come under the influence of divisive, race-centered ideology that promotes narratives that portray American and Western values as inherently harmful and oppressive. He directed Vice President J.D. Vance, a member of the Smithsonian Board of Regents, and senior officials to work with Congress to block the Smithsonian from receiving appropriations for exhibitions and programs that don't align with his anti-DEI initiatives. So the rest of this article just kind of goes on to just explain it more in depth. Here's the thing about that. Like, I remember when this executive order first came down, people were talking about the African American History Museum, which is probably one of the best Smithsonians like ever. Like, if you have not been there, I have been there twice, and it's one of the Smithsonians that really highlight one of just the Black struggles through this country. I mean, there's a part of a slave ship in there. There are artifacts like someone's tin canister that somebody put their freedom papers in there. There are just so many artifacts, you know, from the transatlantic slave trade, all of that. Like, literally so much in there that just talks about how Black people came to this country, the time through slavery, and then moving on and celebrating like Black cultural and Black history. I mean, Whitney Houston's gown is in there. Her AMA award is in there. There are different musical instruments, shoes from athletes, right? Like, there are so many aspects of the Black story in this country that is there, right? But there's also like Black Panther flyers. There are literally KKK hoods and things like that. There is a section in there that pretty much has like I would say probably a quarter up of glass that has all the names of the people that they could find who had been lynched by the KKK or who had been lynched in this country's history in the South and everywhere else. So when I went through that museum, and I remember saying this to everybody that I talked to about it, you know, a lot of the stuff is triggering. A lot of the stuff is awful to look at. However, I am grateful that they are able to preserve and protect these pieces of history so that we will never forget it. The Smithsonian does an amazing job with curating these museums. you know damn well that he's going to go there and try to completely gut it and erase things that happen. First off, like, I don't know, like, are they really going to go into the museum and be like, you need to remove these exhibits? Like the Emmett Till, they have the casket Emmett Till was buried in, the original casket, because I believe his body was exhumed. And then that original casket that he was first buried in, his family allowed the Smithsonian to put it there. And there's like strict rules, like you can't take any photos or pictures or things like that because he has an exhibition. Like things like that. Like a lot of the things that have happened to Black Americans in this country, African Americans in this country throughout its history are highlighted, completely unfiltered in the African American History Museum. And he doesn't like that. He wants to completely gut that and completely erase the Black story from this country. So if he's going to be talking about celebrating things in a positive light, like the Black struggle in this country, like there are highlights, right? Like when you look at athletes and people who were patriots during the Civil War and movements, right? Like Harriet Tubman, things like that. But most of like the Black story in this country has been pretty dark. So how are you going to spin that to be a positive light? I don't know. I think this is extremely dangerous. Like when you start going after museums, especially like the Smithsonian, to try to like whitewash the history, like what are we talking about here? Y'all know where we are headed with this rogue president and his fascist regime. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like and subscribe before you take off. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.